Hey guys, so I'm just going to have some of the team's lifts playing in the background as I go on this tangent, but a common fuck up in powerlifting is everyone ends up just upping the dose and relying on the dose to basically allow them to peak, right? But the issue here, right, is when we look at steroids and anabolics, what they're actually meant for and what they do and the aim of them versus how people are using them is a disconnect. So with anabolic steroids, they basically rapidly increase the rate in which you can grow muscle, right? So on a strength athlete, there's definitely a point of diminishing returns. So bodybuilders are more than likely going to have way higher dosing cycles because the goal is in bodybuilding to grow as much muscle as possible and showcase the muscle. Whereas for powerlifting and strength sports, the goal is to exert the most amount of force out of the muscles, right? So like on the strength lifting side and the powerlifting side, yes, there are some steroids that increase your neural drive, right? So neural drive being the shit that essentially allows you to activate the muscle fibers to retract, contract, and lift the weight, right? However, you still need the muscle there to do it, right? So that's why people have a nice base of steroids there to grow more muscle, practice the lifts, practice their efficiency with the lifts, the skill with the lifts, to then in hopes that it allows them to contract more of that tissue they've just grown to hit a new max, right? However, again, with steroids come side effects, right? So some of the really good strength ones, things like your anadrol, your tren, they have very, very high toxicity levels on the body for most people. Yes, some people can tolerate it better than others. I don't care. You're probably not a fucking anomaly, okay? So with that in mind, there's only so long you can run them before your general recovery mechanisms start going down. So what I mean by this is tren fucks with your sleep, right? It can fuck with your appetite. It's something that attacks the liver quite hard. Same with anadrol. Both of these, if they attack your liver really hard, it's very common that one of the side effects is you lose your appetite, right? Now, when it does come to performing lifts, we kind of need to eat to recover. We kind of need to eat to grow, and we kind of need to not throw up as we're fucking lifting, right? So there's a drawback there. So at some point, you have to pull back. And same again, like a bodybuilder can kind of deal with it and the absurd back pumps that occur when you've got anadrol, because anadrol, again, is something that holds a lot more minerals, mineral retention, water retention, which tends to cause shin pumps when you're walking, lower back pumps when you're moving, which is pretty fucking gay, to be fair to you. But again, granted, because of the mineral retention, you've got more fluid in the muscle, it feels nicer on the body to do the same weights. It's not as aids, I should say. And then the other side effect of both of those is their neural drivers, right? So it's going to allow you to recruit more muscle fibers quicker compared to if you weren't using them, generally speaking. However, again, very toxic. At some point, you can't keep upping the dose, right? It's a negative return because you just can't eat. Again, when the trainer starts fucking with your sleep, we recover in our sleep. If you've ever tried to go for a heavy set on low sleep, you've probably found out that it's pretty gay and it's pretty hard and it's not realistic. So again, with strength athletes, because again, a bodybuilder, they can kind of deal with it. They can drink the calories and get it down. I mean, a powerlifter can as well. But, they can kind of deal with the heinous pumps, right? But both of them, if you're losing sleep, you're not growing, you're not recovering. And again, on the strength side, you're using them as a supplement to aid your performance, as opposed to a requirement essentially to grow into the sport. So yeah, the dosing protocols for a strength athlete should be a lot lower than a bodybuilder, because again, those heinous pumps that impair your performance as a strength athlete, I mean, if you're too pumped up to get under the bar and this is your third warm-up and you got 5 more to go, yeah, you're probably not going to do too fucking well. Versus the bodybuilder where they're chasing the pump, stimulating the muscle just enough to grow, and they've got all the drugs in the fucking world. Sick. So again, strength athletes, the goal isn't to blast as much gear possible. It's to utilize enough to allow you, yes, to build a bit more muscle, but aid in your recovery during your build-up process into the comp, and then a little bit more, so when you peak, you can extract a lot more out of it. So, for instance, what I mean by this, on one rep max calculators, you have things that roughly predict your 1 rep max, right? And it gets more accurate the lower down your reps go. However, so if you were to do, say, a set of 10 with something, I don't know, say you did 200 kilos for 10, and theoretically your 1 rep max was 300 because of this. as you peak, right? So naturally, when you peak, you probably get to doubles, and you might find out your 1 rep max is actually like 270, right? So still fucking cool, pretty good innings, but 15% less than what the calculator said, because it's not necessarily accurate. However, if you were to hit that 200 for 10 on a base of, say, I don't know, just testosterone and like an estrogen blocker like masterone or something, and then as you build up, so say 3 weeks out when you're in the doubles, so say Natty you did doubles at, I don't know, 250, and that's the heaviest you got there. Whereas if you started then adding in the fun candies, so to speak, right, so you can extract more out of your performance, you might end up getting something like 270 for the double. Now all of a sudden you've still got the theoretical 300 for the 1 rep max, because now you built your strength potential in the back end. As it starts coming up towards your peak, that's when you're starting to add in the extra drugs to get more neural drive, right? So to draw more out of the same peak. So then it becomes a lot more accurate to hit that same top end number that was based on the calculator, right? I hope that makes sense. So again, like the goal is different. You don't want to be running that shit the whole way round, because you'll get fucked up. You'll stop being able to eat and sleep, which is going to impair your performance. You'll probably get injured, and it's not ideal. So yeah, long tangent to say, don't base your doses off of bodybuilders. It's a different fucking sport. Bodybuilders want to grow the muscle. Yes, you want to get jacked so you can extract more strength out of the same muscle groups, right? And then the more lean tissue you have, you can contract it. Fat tissue doesn't contract, muscle contracts. So in theory, if you're a more jacked version in the same weight class, you're probably going to be stronger. I get that. However, we can't run the high doses the whole way around because it's going to fuck your performance. The goal at the end of the day in using anabolic steroids is to do a better performance. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Don't fucking rely on the dose. All the basics still remain the same. You still have to sleep, you still have to eat, you still have to be hydrated. All they're going to do is allow you to extract a bit more out of your performance. You still have to do the base work. You still have to get down there and fucking suffer in the training. I hope this makes sense. But yeah, don't rely on the dose, motherfuckers.